Real Pittsburgh talk and information. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
As the leader of my nation, I'm addressing the President Biden. You are the leader of the nation, of your great nation. I wish you to be the leader of the world. Being the leader of the world means to be the leader of peace. Thank you. Slava Ukraini.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Joining me this morning, Republican Congressman Guy Reschenthaler, joining myself and my wife, Christine. Guy, you got both of us today, sir. Good morning.
Nice. Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Congressman, tell us, first of all, you watched President Zelensky's speech. What was your reaction?
I was moved by the speech. I was also a little, I'd say upset, to put it mildly, that so many people will give President Zelensky a standing ovation. They'll wear a Ukrainian flag on their lapel pin, but their support is hollow. And what I mean by that is, why are they not calling for these MiG-29s to get delivered to Ukraine? Why aren't they saying that we should be doing more to end this conflict? So I'm frustrated by the virtue signaling. I think that we need to send more lethal aid to the Ukrainians so they can repel this invasion.
You know, it's interesting, Guy, because I listened and I heard him. He said, look, and I'm paraphrasing, obviously, I could never be as charming as he is. He said, if I can't get a fly zone, I'll take these S-300 missiles. Now, this is this anti-missile, anti-aircraft system, the most advanced on Earth, and the S-600. They're already on the ground. Why not just send more and say, okay, no-fly zone is fine? What do you say, sir?
So there's a whole bunch of options that we can take, Marty. The most extreme, second set boots on the ground, which I don't think anybody's calling for, would be the no-fly zone. But shy of that no-fly zone, what he's calling for are these long-range anti-aircraft missiles. That would go a long way. Remember, the Stinger missiles are for close aircraft. They're anti-aircraft missiles, but close. So he needs the long-range ones. We also need to get him the mobile anti-aircraft batteries that he can move around. But of course, those are, we would say in the military, they're high speed, right? They're high tech, they're state of the art. But remember, we also work with the Israelis to give them the Iron Dome technology, which is about as state of the art as you can get. So there's a lot of precedence for us working with our allies and sharing military equipment that is high speed. I've got no problem with that, especially in the face of an invasion like this, where you have all these civilian casualties, literally millions of refugees. It's time for us to give the Ukrainians what they need.
Well, he talked a lot about a humanitarian no-fly zone, but is that something that would actually be different than a military no-fly zone?
So I believe that's semantics. Other people might differ, but I think if you're going to do a humanitarian no-fly zone, you in essence just need to have a no-fly zone, because once our pilots are engaged, once we're jamming the Russians' aircraft and their anti-aircraft ballistic missiles with electronic warfare, it in essence is the same thing. Now, I know we disagree. I want a no-fly zone, but I don't think that you can't be half pregnant. We can't have a humanitarian no-fly zone and just a regular no-fly zone. They're virtually the same thing.
Hey, Guy, I was watching, man, you were sitting there watching that video, man.
Yes.
That shook me up, right? That video of the dead bodies and God, man.
And what's so upsetting about this is the Ukrainians did nothing to provoke this war. It was actually the acquiescence of the West, allowing Russia to take Crimea back in 2014, allowing Russia to send in their little green men into eastern Ukraine to ferment the separatist movement. The Ukrainians are the victims here. And that's what's so appalling, that these people are truly innocent victims. And what really got me was seeing the mass grave, the ditch you saw, and bodies being thrown in. Yeah. Completely unacceptable. And again, what really upsets me is this hollow support for Ukraine. We could end this today by getting a no-fly zone established, by hitting the Russians with electronic warfare, jamming their aircraft, etc. and we just choose not to. And I think it's unacceptable. I think that ultimately, if we want to end this, we will have the no-fly zone. Reasonable minds can differ. I understand that, but that's the only way to end this carnage today.
Well, you know, as a parent, I think about teaching our kids to stand up to bullies, to not let people push you over and treat you poorly. And that's how I think of this situation in Ukraine. But I know a lot of people are afraid that if we enforce a no-fly zone, that it could lead to World War III. And now it's the U.S. engaged. Why do you think it's worth that risk at this point?
I think that's saber rattling on the Russians' part. We know that after the fall, the fall of the Iron Curtain, I almost called it the Steel Curtain. That's the Pittsburgh in me. But after the fall of the Iron Curtain, we know in interviews by top military brass from the Kremlin that they were never going to launch nuclear weapons proactively, because a nuclear war, everybody loses. The world loses. So I don't think Putin's top military brass would even honor an order to start launching nuclear weapons. Plus, we have a much greater capability than they do. Russia needs to be afraid of us. We cannot allow a perceived Russian counterattack to us dictate our foreign policy, dictate our military actions on the ground. We need to be in the driver's seat. We need to be leaning forward, and we need to be controlling the situation. When we vacillate, when we allow our decisions to be dictated by what a supposed response would be from Moscow, we lose our leadership role and we lose our military advantage.
Congressman Guy Reschenthaler, appreciate you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, good to be on with you both. It's an honor. Take care, guys.